Coming up, we take a closer look at some of the local candidates who are vying for this election season. Joining us in the studio to discuss all the election news is Adjunct Instructor Bill Enright of the Political Science Department. And later, we talk basketball, but it's not about March Madness. All that and much more on this special edition of Courier News TV. Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Bianna Yeager. Election Day is Tuesday, April 1st, and that's no joke. Joining me now in the studio is Adjunct Instructor Bill Enright of the Political Science Department with some analysis. Thanks, Bill, for joining us.
Sure, Bianna.
Let's start off with the mayoral race. We have big races we are following in the city of Aurora and the village of Glen Ellen. What can you tell us about these mayoral races?
Well, first, I think you might be right about April 1st and elections, but secondly, what's going on in Glen Ellen is kind of interesting because normally by this time you would have already had it all figured out, but there's a party called the Betterment Party in Glen Ellen. They do a primary and elect who they're going to run for president. And then if somebody wants to run in addition to that, then they're running as an independent. And so Gary Fasoulis is the candidate for the Betterment Party, and then Jim Burkett, who's a former trustee, is running as the independent. And so it's a little bit more interesting than it normally would be for Glen Ellen. And since we're in the town here, we thought we'd at least take a little bit of a look at that.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that for sure. CNTV caught up with one of the candidates vying for president of the village of Glen Ellen.
As Glen Ellen prepares for the upcoming April 1st general consolidated election, residents will head to the polls to choose a new village president. In the race for village president, two candidates are competing for the seat left vacant after the resignation of former president Mark Senek in November 2024. Trustee Donna Simon has served as acting president since then. Gary Fasoulis, running as Civic Betterment Committee candidate, is a Glen Ellen native with 12 years of experience as village trustee. He previously served as acting village president for 4 months in 2021. Fasoulis has been involved in several village committees, including the capital improvements, liquor review, and police pension boards. In his campaign, Fasoulis promises to continue the village's mission of respect, dignity, and volunteerism, focusing on retail growth, sustainability, fiscal responsibility, sustainability, and government transparency.
I have a simple philosophy for local government. It's what I call the 4 Ps, and it stands for public safety, pavement, piping, and permitting.
Challenging Fasoulis is independent candidate Jim Burkett, who brings a spirit of community engagement to his campaign. While Burkett was not available for an interview, his candidate bio highlights his belief that Glen Ellen has a bright future ahead. He emphasizes the importance of working together with residents, local leaders, and business owners to address the needs of the town and ensure a vibrant future for all. With both candidates bringing distinct visions for the village's future, Glen Ellen residents will soon decide who will take the helm of the village leadership. As Election Day approaches, Glen Ellen voters have an important decision to make. For more information about the candidates and the races, visit DuPage County Clerk's website. For Courier TV News, I'm John Frieh.
There are multiple referendums that are happening in the general vicinity of the College of DuPage campus. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those referendums?
Yeah, first, you just got to take a look and see, what do referendums mean? And for the most part, it means, the voters are getting a chance to decide whether or not they want to, for the most part, approve a tax increase for something that's going to happen in their town or their area. And so one thing was in Bensonville, for instance, Bensonville decided they were going to see if the voters would be willing to have a 1% sales tax on groceries in their town. And so they're going to have a chance to vote on that. Another one was in Winfield. They were trying to decide whether or not they were going to allow people to have chickens in their yards, which with the price of eggs, I suppose everybody wants to have chickens in their yards now.
I bet they do.
And then there's one, District 201, which is Downers Grove, Westmont area, and they're deciding whether or not they're going to have a $68 million bond issue to build a new school. So you can imagine when you're talking about a $68 million bond issue that is going to need to be paid back, they're going to have a long-term, probably 20-year bond, and that means they're going to have to increase taxes for property taxes during that entire period to pay off that bond.
Yeah, and one of the things we know people don't like to hear is more money coming out of their pocket, right?
Yeah, right. And so that's one of the questions that the voters have to decide, whether or not they're willing to increase their taxes. It's a unique way that we do it here in the United States because it's just for these local governments where you pretty much have this decision whether or not to increase your own taxes.
Sure. Let's bring it back to College of DuPage. We have 3 candidates vying for the college's Board of Trustees. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, it's 3 candidates running for 3 seats, which also is a little bit unique compared to what's been going on lately, because in the last couple of elections, there's been a lot of candidates running, and this time only 3 decided to run, and so there's only 3 running for 3 seats. One of them's in an unexpired seat that is only going to be 2 years, the other ones are 6 years. And so the people who are elected are going to be on the Board of Trustees for 6 years.
Oh, wow. That's quite some time, actually.
Yeah, right.
6 years is pretty decent amount of time.
And then just one other thing, just to go back, Aurora race, which was Richard Irvin running against Lesh, who's already on the city council. And Richard Irvin, of course, ran for governor and was supported by the Republicans across the state and even across the country, and also is a big Trump supporter. And so it'll be interesting to see whether or not that plays a role. It's a nonpartisan election, so there's not a Republican and a Democrat running. It's just 2 people who are running, and they're not associated with a party, but we know that they are associated with parties. And so in this one, it's going to be interesting too.
This election isn't the only local one this year. The student body at the College of DuPage recently voted for the Student Leadership Council members. CNTV reporter Ben Ellenby introduces us to these newly elected members.
This afternoon, we were able to speak to the winner of the Student Leadership Council, Isabel Luna Escobar.
First and foremost, I want to make students know that they have a voice here on campus. I think over the last couple of years, students don't really know what being part of the Board of Trustees is or being part of Student Leadership Council is. So much of that goes swept under the rug, and so many students walk around complaining about things that could be easily resolved like that if we just used our voices and then make sure that they were heard.
Elections are important. Presidential, governor, mayoral, and local elections is what makes America a democracy. College elections are also important, especially for a community college like COD. The college needs more engagement to make the community part of the name COD truly a community.
It takes time, yes, but me and the other elected officials have spoken about the changes that we would like to see when it comes to the next election. We want to do a bunch of outreach. We want to advertise it like crazy. We want to put flyers everywhere and make it so that way students run and compete.
If you hear about an election going on at COD, do your research, talk to your peers, engage. For Courier News, I'm Ben Ellenby.
Before I let you go, Bill, is there anything else you want to share with us in regards to elections in the area?
Yeah, again, since these are nonpartisan elections for the most part, at the township level they're not, but otherwise for like the more local ones, it's nonpartisan. It's going to be interesting to see like how that plays out, and especially for these township elections, whether or not national politics are going to play a role and have an influence on how people vote in those township elections, where across the county there's races that are going to be Republicans versus Democrats.
How will these local elections affect anything from a state or like national level?
Yeah, well, it's probably not going to have much of an impact on the state or national, but going reverse, those are going to continue to impact what's going on. Like, for instance, at the national level, since there's funding being cut from many different areas, there's going to be less money going to these local governments. And so are they going to have to change their budgets? Are they going to have to cut services? Are they going to have to increase taxes? And so that's certainly going to have an impact. And then as we go forward into 2026, whether or not those are going to play a role in those elections too, and I'm certain they will. I'd imagine that Richard Irvin from Aurora is going to run for governor again. Julianne Stratton, the lieutenant governor, will probably run as the Democrats' candidate, and so that's probably going to be the way that, certainly it plays out. And we'll see how the midterm elections go, because when you have, and especially right now, controversial issues taking place, there's going to be a lot going on in that midterm election.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I think you probably just gave me the answer to this very last question I had for you. But do you think Governor Pritzker has a chance of running for president by chance?
Yeah, I think he's already started that. He's been in New Hampshire, he's been in Iowa. I know that he's already sort of laying the groundwork. I'm sure he's got a committee together that's working with him on it. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And he's got $2 billion, and so if he decided to run, he could certainly fund part of it to get started.
He definitely has the money to do so. There's no doubt about that. Well, I have to say thank you so much, Bill, for joining us today and sharing your perspective. It's always so incredibly informative.
Yeah, thanks.
When we return from the break, we'll tell you if the overcast skies are going to be sticking around for your spring break. But first, here's a look at your COD calendar of events.
COD is hosting a baby shower donation drive for Teen Parent Connection. To donate personal items, look for the baby shower drop boxes on campus. Locations will be located around campus, including in the Learning Commons, IRC 1045, BIC 2A07, and HSC 1235. For more information about the baby shower drive, contact Joan DePiero. Join the COD community at the Chappie statue in front of the SRC for a kickoff event celebrating the upcoming Hokusai and Nikoi, the Floating World exhibition at the Cleve Carney Museum of Art this summer. Help create a giant wave across the inside and outside of campus. Participants will receive a free rally towel and food. The free kickoff event will be held at the MAC on Wednesday, April 9th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And join us for a free screening of The Man with the Golden Arm, starring Frank Sinatra as a jazz drummer in the throes of addiction, presented by Film Studies, with an introduction and post-film discussion with film adjunct faculty member Dylan Simmons. The free event will be held on Wednesday, April 9th from 6 to 9 p.m. in BIC Room 1437.
Your pocketbook may be feeling a little empty as the college raises tuition for the next academic year. CNTV reporter Miles Gonzalez is at the cashier's department with more on the increase. Miles Gonzalez, please tell me this is not true.
I'm sorry to say, but College of DuPage tuition is increasing by $4, meaning that it's a fee of $156 per credit hour for in-district students. As part of a continued commitment to providing students top-quality educational opportunities balanced with its responsibilities to local taxpayers, the College of DuPage Board of Trustees authorized the increase effective for the fall. Students on campus reacted to tuition hike.
It's not preferable, but it's not horrible either. I'm honestly kind of indifferent, but it's obviously still an extra $4, so it's not ideal.
I don't like it.
Despite the increase, Board Trustee Christine Fenn reassures students that COD continues to offer a great value, with its total cost still below the state average and various financial aid options are available. Tuition fees will be $359 per hour for out-of-district students. This will begin in the fall semester of 2025. From COD, I'm Miles Gonzalez.
Thanks, Miles. And remember, for all the latest college news and events, check out the Courier newspaper. John Ogan, an honors student at the College of DuPage, has been selected as a semifinalist for the prestigious Jack Kent Cooke Foundation Transfer Scholarship. Ogan is one of 467 students nationwide vying for this honor, which recognizes exceptional community college students. The scholarship offers up to $55,000 per year for 2 to 3 years to help students transfer to a four-year college, all while keeping them debt-free. In addition to financial support, recipients gain access to personalized educational advising, internships, and a wealth of networking opportunities. The winners will be announced in May. College social life can be overwhelming for many students, with most focused primarily on their studies. But what about those who are eager to socialize? Is it easy for them to make friends, or do they face challenges in connecting with others?
Sometimes being a student can feel like an uphill climb, and the halls of College of DuPage can be daunting. The college offers so many different opportunities to meet people and socialize. Spring semester is in full swing here at COD, and campus life is busy.
The social life is a lot. It's mostly online. We have a Discord, so A lot of it is, messages to each other, showing each other certain things, asking certain questions, planning out events. When we're in person, it's really just about learning more about computer science in general.
College of DuPage is home to a diverse population of students. There are many activities on campus for students to enjoy. There are also a variety of places to socialize on campus. If you want to hide away and get homework done or take a break from the stress of the semester, there are places all over campus to do that as well.
I would say my social life is pretty active, which is very surprising to me at least, because in high school, I typically just had a group of friends and that was about it, and I had that for 4 years. But at COD, I've been able to interact with so many different organizations and clubs and meet so many different people that genuinely I feel like I found a place where I genuinely belong in.
If you're looking for something to do, don't forget to take a look at the information boards and televisions located throughout campus. For Courier News Television, I'm Megan Elste.
We regularly celebrate the accomplishments of the many teams and athletes here at College of DuPage. What many may not know is that amongst the student body walk quiet champions. 2 of our fellow chaparrals left it all on the courts as they competed in the 2025 Special Olympics State Basketball Championship at Illinois State and Wesleyan Universities in Normal, Illinois. I had the opportunity to cheer on these 2 athletes. Special Olympics Illinois organizes over a dozen tournaments each year, with basketball being one of the most popular sports. 2 of our fellow chaparrals, Ben Ellenby and Billy O'Brien, demonstrated their hoop skills when they competed in the Special Olympics basketball state finals earlier this month.
It gives people like me the opportunity to do something we love and to play the sport that we maybe otherwise wouldn't have been able to play.
What's important to know about Special Olympics is what it's all about. Special Olympics is all about celebrating and recognizing our athletes' abilities, not their disabilities.
Special Olympics basketball is, in its own way, like college basketball in the NBA. We're all athletes at the end of the day. We get to go out and compete and play our favorite sport that we love.
Special Olympics is about sports competition, but it's also about coming together, especially in team sports, and seeing them get along with each other and inspiring each other to get better.
It's more about just the sports. It is really about the camaraderie and the teamwork and all the life lessons our athletes learn each and every year when they do come out and participate in Special Olympics.
I'm still friends with people I was on my high school team with.
So I won the Ron Kinsley Spirit of the Games Award. It doesn't go out to the player who scores the most points, but they show good sportsmanship.
What I love about most Special Olympics is the relationships. The relationships that we have formed last a lifetime. We respect our opponents, we respect each other, and we're here for a greater purpose than ourselves.
I want people to recognize just how competitive Special Olympics is, because I feel like it gets a little unnoticed at times.
For us as a team, we lost last year in the state qualifier, so to go back there and get a chance to rebound and win another gold medal, it really means a lot to all of us.
And this is a good example, to all teams. When you play team ball, that's how goals happen as a team.
Ben and Billy, along with their teammates, continuously inspire others through their commitment and passion, showing that determination can overcome any obstacle. Their achievements deserve to be celebrated not only during the season, but year-round.
Go Spartans! 4th place in state.
First place, baby. State champs.
And that's what it's all about.
Here's a quick look at your COD weather forecast. Thank you for watching Courier News TV. We'll be back next week with a new edition. For everyone here at Courier News, I'm Bianna Yeager. Have a great spring break.